See Hobbs and Shaw. Great movie.
None of you, Tyrese. What more do you want from me? Get over yourself, man.
Hate is gonna hate.
Get over yourself, bro. Okay. Welcome everyone to another edition of A and B Convos Wrestling Edition. As you can see, we have a special guest with us today. Everybody, please meet
Bam Bam Bino.
Bam Bam Bino. Only old school wrestling fans would remember that reference. All right, let's get right into it. So this is the road to SummerSlam. This was the last Raw and SmackDown Live before the big event, which is the second biggest event of the year right after WrestleMania. Personally, I'm not overly excited about the card that they have set up for us, but it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely not very exciting, but they did bring up our 24/7 championship, which is, you know, a great thing to watch every week, and the title changed hands
Twice. In an OB/GYN appointment, which I gotta tell you, I've been asking her all week, how are they gonna figure out a way to cover Maria Kanellis, considering the fact that she can't lay down and is pregnant? And they did it rather nicely, I thought. And they snuck in. Now, I don't know if anybody had paid attention to this. Maybe somebody's watching our show. Maybe somebody's watching a different program. But the referee was female.
First time ever that we saw a female referee in WWE ever. We had mentioned that, you know, we thought it was a really big deal that AEW came out on top with a female ref, and that WWE had never had one outside of a female wrestler, you know, doing it as part of one of their storylines.
And I love it. Brian Bone Crusher, I don't know if you picked that audio up, is a little mad that Bam Bam Bino has taken her spot, but it is what it is.
It is
okay?
what it is.
It's a top spot. So let's get right into it. Monday Night Raw was not bad.
It was okay.
It's not bad.
It wasn't great, but it was okay. You know, the Seth thing is really getting kind of hard to watch for me.
Yeah.
It's like Brock is just like a bully at school, picking on this little kid, and not even really, just at this point, tossing him around and having fun with him like it's a game. Like, I don't really understand how we're supposed to consider Seth real competition for SummerSlam after this week.
We've seen this before. No, I mentioned I'm not terribly excited about seeing Seth Rollins go against Brock Lesnar. I wasn't excited about seeing Roman Reigns go against Brock Lesnar. Clearly, Brock Lesnar is getting the push, and because his advocate, Paul Heyman, is now executive director of Monday Night Raw, there's really no getting around it. It's going to be what it's going to be. I think we will see Brock Lesnar retain the Universal Championship come SummerSlam.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. And if Seth ended up with the title, it wasn't because he bested Brock.
Yeah, the Beast Slayer is gonna get. I did really appreciate the fact that, on a more somber note, WWE did pay tribute right out of the gate to the victims of those shootings. The entire roster came out on the apron, and they tolled the bell, and that was really something to see. Which, of course, we did lose. A legend in the wrestling industry, Harley Race, the King Harley Race. They did pay a really good tribute to him as well. I remember watching him growing up as well, and although he was kind of towards the end of his career at that point, but rest in peace to Harley Race.
And then we had Bray Wyatt come out and use the mandible claw again. So
yeah, okay, so look, here's the deal. I'm a fan of the Firefly Funhouse. At first, I didn't know where it was going to be going. I like it. I like the fact that we've got this duality character.
Right.
But here's the thing, all right? And this is what is really getting me. because in a way I feel like it's the 24/7 championship all over again when Mick Foley presented it. He presented this as a serious, kind of hardcore title situation. The universe was not happening. Ended up being what it is. It's a great comic piece. I really enjoy it. The Mandible Claw. The Mandible Claw, and man, look, Mick Foley's character was scary, right? But I never took him seriously every time he did the Mandible Claw. It never made any sense. You're not choking anybody, you're putting your disgusting fingers down your opponent's mouth, and then all of a sudden they're incapacitated? I don't think so. Never bought it then, I'm not buying it now. You've got this really scary guy in a ridiculously scary mask who's clearly unbalanced, and that's putting it nicely. And the best finishing move he can come up with is the Mandible Claw?
Roman Reigns is not just being attacked, but someone is trying to kill him. And I gotta tell you, they haven't had something like that in a long time, where they have a mystery, someone's being attacked, seriously hurt. In this case, attempted murder, and they're, alluding to Rowan, perhaps Daniel Bryan, and that is that's good. That's a good storyline.
I like it. I like it. Like you said, we haven't seen this type of backstage interaction in quite some time, so I really appreciate the fact that we do have Paul Heyman ramping up the extreme, if you will. So I appreciated that. I really appreciated the fact that Samoa Joe did his whole spiel, but yet came out and wanted to help the Uso. So that was cool.
Okay, if you haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw yet and you don't know what Uso is family. So when he said Uso, he does realize that Roman Reigns isn't one of the Uso brothers, although he kind of is. But Uso means family, and they're all Samoans. So okay. Women's titles changed hands. Tag team titles. Women's tag team titles changed hands. Such a tongue.
In a fatal 4-way match. Now here's the deal. Again, talking about sort of a comic relief, the Iconics, I think they're funny. I think their talent is being somewhat wasted in the ring. They're better wrestlers than we've seen, but they're funny. I really like their bit, and putting the titles on them, I think, has elevated them. The fact of the matter is, I really would have appreciated the Iconics retaining the Women's Tag Team Championship, but obviously they did not. And what ended up happening was the most unlikely duo in all of professional wrestling, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, are now your new Raw Tag Team titles. And side note, if you notice, they still are undecided. They say Raw Women's Tag Team titles, but they also say your Women's Tag Team titles. So again, either it's one or the other, because I still feel that they need to have a SmackDown Live Women's Tag Team titles just like they do with the men.
Are you gonna go? I don't want you to go to the bathroom. And I feel like he's about to.
I was pulling for the Kabuki Warriors. They are a great tag team, and I gotta tell you, Kairi Sane is insane in that ring. Love her style, love everything about it, but again,
I mean, they're very strong, fighting, very competitive nature. It doesn't make sense if they're not champions, and especially when they have Paige.
She's their manager.
So having Paige as their manager, I really feel like they are the strong team to ultimately hold and retain the championship. But WWE is pushing Alexa and Nikki so hard down our throats. I mean, I don't understand. Well, first of all, I can't understand what she's saying. If I can't understand what you're saying, it's just annoying to me. And furthermore, I don't care. I don't care about your friendship. I think their story is ridiculous. I mean, it's like an elementary school story, and they're just pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And I feel like it's really a soft, weak story.
Yeah, she was not here. Who was next? Dolph was next with Goldberg.
I mean, I know that after allowing The Undertaker to redeem himself, that I'm sure they want to let Goldberg redeem himself. You don't want to let somebody be remembered for that horrible match. However, number one, when like Dolph doing this whole legend killer, when Randy Orton was the legend killer, at least he was successful. Dolph won his first match in how long? You know, this week, and you don't think that he's going to win with Goldberg because you know that Goldberg is trying to regain some dignity, but also Dolph is he's just here to lose lately, just like Rey Mysterio.
Well, this is the thing. Dolph's been putting in some work, but like she said, Rey Mysterio, former champion, former world champion, he's better than this. All right, now I get it. Again, I get it. I know professional wrestlers at one point or another in their career, they're used to help get other guys over. I get it. Rey Mysterio has a lot of life in him, as Mark Henry would say. He's got plenty more left in the tank.
Now I see Rey and go, oh, he's here to get beat up. I wonder who's going to beat him up tonight.
And this is my point exactly, going back to the Viking Raiders and going back to, like I've said many, many times, to what WWE specifically used to do in the 80s. Look, if you want to take somebody seriously, you need to have them face a main card person. And the fact of the matter is, we know that Rey Mysterio has taken on the Big Show, okay, the biggest athlete in the world, and has won. So the fact that you have the Viking Raiders taking on nobodies, and we're supposed to believe that these guys are big and powerful and strong, I don't get it.
Two words for you.
Hated it! If you want to go ahead and have Dolph Ziggler or whoever else come out and beat up Rey Mysterio, that makes a little more sense, but at the same time takes away from the stock that Rey Mysterio has built in his career all of these years. I don't like it. It needs to stop. It's ridiculous.
And the nobodies segment, we have a locker room full of people who are on the borderline of being nobodies that you've actually brought in and contracted to be there. And other than chasing around the 24/7 champion or seeing them at a craft services skit, you don't use them at all. Why not use them at least to lift the Viking Raiders? Remind us that you have them there instead of bringing in stand-ins and extras to get beat up.
Doesn't make any sense. You don't get to the main roster by beating up nobodies. This is what NXT is for.
Right.
This is what the Performance Center is for. That's not what Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, televised programs. It's not what this is for. So WWE, again, get your writing together. Vince, if you want to tear up anything, tear up that. Stop it.
Right. I mean, what did you tear up? Because maybe it was better.
Chad Gable, man, I gotta tell you, where was this kid 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Oh no, he was what, 12 then?
He was 12.
Just a couple of years ago. I gotta tell you, he should have cut his hair a long time ago. And he was looking great and...
Didn't know who he was.
No.
He said, oh my goodness, he looks so different. I said, I don't even know who you're talking about. So, yes, he looks very different when you take away the hair and the bandana. He's a completely different person.
But Elias stepped to him, and I hope he got some friction going on.
Well, he just looked scared. It was like a bully in the courtyard.
He looked scared, but he wasn't a nobody. This is kind of my point. Get a
Right.
lower tiered person, bring him with a higher tiered person. That makes more sense.
Yes.
Okay?
Makes
Simple
more
as that.
sense than what they're doing with his old partner.
Boy, Shelton Benjamin. Just looking around. I don't know. Who sold Vince on this? This is a good idea?
He doesn't even do it well. Anyway, so that's enough of that. But the main event was supposed to be the champion, Kofi Kingston, against Daniel Bryan, and then it was supposed to be Daniel Bryan and Rowan against Kofi and Xavier Woods, and then Kofi got scrapped altogether.
But they did have a segment
that.
with Kofi, basically talking about the history he has with Randy Orton, which, was
Right,
good. They do have some good history. We've seen some stuff before, so...
Yeah, but I mean, he's not injured, so I'm wondering why.
I don't know, but at the end of the day, I will say this much. Looking at the card for SummerSlam, again, not really all that impressed. This is SummerSlam, okay? So there really needs to be some good fanfare. This needs to be big. This isn't just your average little pay-per-view. And so far, that's what this card looks like. It looks like just some mid-month pay-per-view something.
If they do, in fact, have Roman go against Rowan as a build-up towards Daniel Bryan, and as Reigns thinks he tried to kill him, and so there's a lot of animosity there. And if that shows up on the card, I will be happy with that.
I don't know. I gotta tell you, I like Daniel Bryan. I have nothing against Rowan. And honestly, I know they try to do something with him and Harper, a couple different personas. I don't see a Rowan thing really being of interest to me. I mean, he's a big guy and all, but so what?
I think he's a good wrestler, and I think that it will be a decent match.
Well, we'll see.
We will see, because SummerSlam is when?
This Sunday.
And we are going to watch it at Dave & Buster's in Hollywood. So last time we took you guys there wasn't a lot going on, but from what we understand, there was a break, and there is supposed to be a SummerSlam event there, and we will be there, and we will bring it to you.
Thank you guys for joining us once again for another A&B Convos
Wrestling Edition.
So be sure to tune in, like you said, next week after we bring you the biggest event of the summer, SummerSlam review.
Yes.
Until then,
if you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit the notification bell. That would be nice.
that would be nice.
Comment below.
See you down the road.